All right, welcome back. So this will be episode 14 of Coping Mechanisms with someone who's become a very dear friend of mine, close collaborator, business partner, Sam Hatch, or as we call him, Hatch. So Hatch's story really exemplifies what this whole cope and ultimately coping mechanisms philosophy is about, which is that when it comes to your character and ultimately your outcomes in life, it doesn't really matter the circumstances that you find yourself in, that which you were born in, or what's around you. What matters is how you cope with the circumstances that you find yourself in. What are you going to do about it? And he embodies this philosophy in a really, really beautiful way. His story is just absolutely wild. Like, it almost doesn't make sense if you were to just to hear like some of the cliff notes and top line events that he's been through. It's one of extreme perseverance. It's one of deep self-knowledge, of personal development, of relentless drive to cultivate and uncover innate potential that he knew was in him. And it's one of finding his way to being the person just that he knew that he could be. He's somebody who cares deeply. He's genuinely one of the most selfless people I've ever known. Genuinely just like exudes kindness and compassion, while also being able to hold the dichotomy of insane drive and accountability and brutal honesty. And he's found a way to tie all these things together. And his story really just kind of outlines this whole thing. And the purpose of these, sort of initial podcasts is to introduce you guys to the people that I surround myself with and the people that I'm interested in speaking to. Sort of an intro for later episodes so that these can, be within the Rolodex of episodes that we have, giving people an opportunity to tell their stories, of course, but also as a reference point for more conversations in the future, sort of a stepping stone for us to be able to build out this cast of characters that are in my life and are in this movement that I'm building, which we call Cope. The podcast is Coping Mechanisms, obviously, but the whole thing ultimately is Cope. Yeah, so this is one that I think that you guys will find a lot of inspiration from and a lot of empowerment from as well. It is a hero's journey and a half. It's very entertaining. Hatch has a way with words. He's a very captivating guy. And I kind of just let him rip. I just kind of, he's the type of person you just throw softballs to and just let him go. So yeah, hope you guys like it. Somebody that I definitely encourage you to give a follow. He's Helpful Hatch on Instagram. You'll see him on a lot of my stuff. As I said, I'm at his house right now in Kentucky. We're collaborating on a lot of projects. We have a lot of exciting things coming out together over the next few months. And yeah, as always, please subscribe, like, and follow. Help us get this thing out there to the world. Let me know what you think. Give me feedback. Reach out. You can find me on Instagram. I'm very available. Yeah. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Let's do it.
Yeah. No, when he mentioned to me that he had met somebody that he had embarked on this journey with, and he had just had this crazy weekend. A couple conversations into it, we had talked about you, and he had just said, man, he's crushing it with this podcast stuff. And I just, in my space in central Kentucky where I live at, it's not like frequently heard like, oh man, this guy's crushing it on some podcasts. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody.
It's a weird thing.
Yeah,
sure,
yeah. But it's putting that out into the universe, and how he explained to me what Cope was and is. I knew this was going to take place. Yeah. The minute that he said it to me the first time, I knew in my head. And there's certain things, like we talked about foresight, right? So it's like when we started putting this together and when we first had a conversation, you could have gone anywhere and done whatever you wanted, you know? There's always some type of pull towards something, whether it's natural or sometimes we get to the top of the hill and we need a little push to get back down. I've always found Tyler to be a great advocate for seeing into the future, like I always talk about, and seeing brilliance in things. And
he sees people really well. He has an eye, and like, I mean, he's 4 for 4 with me right now, like in terms of just like people that he keeps bringing me to, and he's like, dude, you got to meet this guy. So he said the same shit about you. He's like, he just kept telling me, and he didn't like kind of just like let it pass, like, cause I was like, cool, yeah, Hatch, sure, some guy, and he's like, no, like you don't understand, like you guys are gonna sesh, and like, here the fuck we are.
I love that. Yeah.
Here we are.
Dude, alchemy and manifestation is something that I let my subtle, unthinking mind work on it all the time while I'm trying to rationalize my moment to moment, day to day. And I know that the universe helps put stuff like this together, which is why when I heard it, I mean, for all the things that I have conversations about and that I actually resonate with, I don't know, maybe like less than 1% throughout the day, week, month, year, I don't, but talking about stuff like this, I resonated with it immediately. And I said to myself, what just a good group of people at a stepping stone in our life, and the next stepping stone is just beautiful.
Yeah.
It's what we make it. And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I said it before we were like properly rolling, but dude, I like genuinely just like want to thank you and make this a part of the conversation like that people see. Like I'm genuinely just like grateful for you having that foresight and also having just the balls and the audacity to put this vision out here and to like, I mean, like we're in this giant house now in this fucking neighborhood because of you. Like
Yeah.
you were the one with the vision that like really made it happen. And I know Tyler has a lot going on, Jordan has a lot going on. Like we all would have been down in theory, but like you really were just harping on it in this beautiful way. And you keep saying this thing of like, why not us? Why not us? And it's been this beautiful thing that like has come together in this amazing way that's so much more significant than I even like realized that it could be. Like I kind of came on a whim and also just kind of trusting Tyler just to like trust like the way that things worked out. And I mean, I know and I see it in everybody here that it is like a life-changing summit, a meeting of the minds, the vault of minds, as PBD would say. Like it is just an amazing thing, and that's where we are. By the way, for people, and some context for people watching, we're in tell people where are we at.
Yeah, no, we're in Orlando, and Patrick Bet David was having a summit that he calls like the Vault, and he's had them since I think he said 2019. And Tyler was the one that kind of subtly was like, "Hey, I'm doing this thing. If you're interested at all."
He was gonna solo it, right?
Yeah, he was. He was gonna. This crazy man. He was gonna solo this, and I just couldn't imagine going on that journey. Now that I'm a couple days in, I couldn't imagine doing it alone. The guy would have came back and people would have thought he was just an absolute fucking madman, which he is in a good way.
He is. So, he absolutely is.
But it would have just added even more to that, which I find to be, he's just, that guy's always breaking the ceiling, and coming down here to Orlando, we've always talked about this. We've always said that, hey, why not us, the why not me, the why not now, what is stopping us? And when mentioning of you coming, I was just like, whatever roadblocks might be there, I would love to be the solution provider to whatever it is to see you down here.
It literally was like a weird like active like I'm not gonna get like too deep into like where I'm at like personally, because it would just be like this long rabbit hole, but like I'm in this like when this happened, like literally like last week, I'm in the midst of this like just storm of like a lot, not in like a bad way. It's just like a lot of data coming in, a lot of stuff. I'm going through a lot of changes. I'm taking on way more than I can chew. And I'm just like, because of all of that, I'm kind of just like cloistered up in my den, just like kind of like locked into my process. And like due to that, like I'm like really kind of not failing, but just like neglecting or not nurturing a lot of my social relationships like I like to be. Like I'm not out and about. I'm inside. The boy is fucking inside, like super not outside at all. So like that was kind of my natural just knee-jerk reaction. Was like, nah, like I'm good. I need to work on implementation. Like I don't need more data. I just need to like stay like in my process. And like you fucking, I guess like through Tyler hits me up and he's like, dude, Hatch heard you weren't coming. He said he'd fly you out. I'm like, why? And I called him immediately. I was like, why? Like, why does this dude like want me out here? We had talked once for 10 minutes on the phone.
Yeah.
And he told me like a fraction of your life story. And then like, I was like, cool. Sounds like a good guy. But like, that was it. So like that for like just seeing, like, it didn't really dawn on me fully until I like talked to Tyler about it. He's like, I've just been like talking to him about you. And he's just like, he believes in me and he sees that I believe in you. And like by de facto, because he's a man on a mission right now and he's so like leading by faith in his life, he's just like, he should come. And like that, like, I just want to like hat tip you to that, because like, I know you have a lot going on too. And like, that's something that you choose.
Yeah.
Like that's an active choice to be like this fucking guy too. Cause you have all your boys here. You have plenty of people here, but for you to like pick me out of the bunch and be like, just to see me and be like, yeah, you're coming too, was such a fucking cool move. Like, how did you get to this process of like building in like faith like that? Like, what's that process like for you? Or what was even like going through your head?
I was the person that would have said, no, I'm busy.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the type of person that it takes to where if you had agreed to it, who you are, it
Mm-hmm.
makes a clear distinction to what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we all came out here. And I can't express that to you enough. Divinity works in the craziest ways. And I was told in 2016 to trust the process. And I've been a shepherd of maybe guiding too many people to water and to, like we were speaking about yesterday, and just like, shoving their head under to make them drink. And it never worked. And
Yeah. Because you can, like, through will, like, you can get their fucking head in the water.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because what would naturally happen if you did? Like, you'd have to, if I keep you down long enough, you're gonna have to take a breath eventually, and you're gonna see that's water, and I'll pull you out right away. Hey, how'd that taste?
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't get what I wanted and needed out of life operating like that, and putting it back into the universe and letting it do its thing was like watching it work. I mean, I don't know how many times I failed. I literally couldn't tell you how many times I failed, maybe trying to present something to somebody, trying to inch them towards something. And they're just like, no, I'm okay. Or, I appreciate it, or whatever the situation may be, but not acting upon it. I was such a broken person, and I begged for it all the time, man. I wished that I had some type of help, because I had felt like I had just climbed and crawled, and my hands, my nails are gone, my knees, that from the knee down, it's not moving, and I'm just taking a bite and moving forward, and another bite and moving forward. And I made a really clear distinction to myself that I will fail a lot upon this journey, but I will never quit. And if I die to that measure, I will die the happiest person that I think would come into existence. And a part of that is asking somebody, hey, do you want to come out here? How about we just take the flight out here, and let's just see what happens. You had that same distinction that spoke to you, that spoke to me.
I had like the reciprocal end of it too, which is like I like have largely refused help from anybody. Like, I like to, like, I just like, even like in the smallest of ways, like I've been like this like kind of like lone wolf character for like so fucking long. So like it uniquely triggered like an opportunity that I had been like trying to line myself up to, of like, accept when people want you around, accept when people like want to be of assistance or encourage you like in any direction, and just like listen to that. So like that's what really like perked my ears up. I'm like, damn, these dudes like really like want me out here for some reason. And that's like even hard for me to fucking say out loud for some reason. It's a strange thing. But like on your journey, like getting to that point of faith, can you just like bring us through like just a little bit of like, what was it like growing up for you? Like, and how did you arrive to this perspective that you have? Because you've been through a lot. Like, you can see it in your eyes, you can feel it in like how you talk and communicate, and how you like, especially how you navigate around like the boys. Like, you can see that you've been through a multitude of challenges, but to like arrive at the point of balance and faith that you hold now is like, that's something that doesn't just happen to you. It's very clearly cultivated. Can you bring us through just like a little bit of your story?
I would absolutely love to. My name's Sam Hatch. I'm from Wareham, Massachusetts. In my hometown, our per capita income per household when I was growing up was like, I don't know, 35 grand a year. The town directly next to our town, Rochester, Massachusetts, the per capita income was like 140, you know? I grew up in a really poverty-stricken area. And my mom is a single mom. She bought a house in Wareham. My family moved there. My sister at the time had 2 kids. Fast forward 6 years after we moved to Wareham, my sister has 4 kids. We're living in a small house, love and unity. And there was this thing that consistently gnawed at me, you know, which I'll correlate to Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but this thing that was my nieces and nephews in the house that I was growing up in. My mom being, you know, physically and mentally ill to a certain degree, and not being able to maybe take care of me the way that maybe I felt at the time that I should have been taken care of. And growing up in a house, fast forward a little bit more just to get acclimated, my sister ended up having 6 kids for the majority of my childhood. And my sister did a really great job raising me along with her kids. And although I'm the youngest of three kids, I am the oldest of my sister's kids because I spent so much time with them. In 2010, my brother-in-law, he's from Brazil, and he had to get his credentials to be a legal citizen. And I think Obama had passed this thing, and he wasn't that far away from doing it. But he said, "Hey, I'm going to go home, and I'm going to do this the right way." Well, he got trapped for almost a year and a half, almost
Holy
2 years.
shit.
Yeah. So my sister, a single parent, 6 kids, pennies in her pocket, creditors calling. She had the weight of the entire world on her shoulders, and a level of resilience that every day I wake up and hope that I could just have a fraction of it.
How old were you at this time?
I would have been 16, 17 when my brother-in-law had gone, and I had fulfilled a role to my sister to try to help out the best that I could.
Formative years of realizing that you are indeed a man and not just like kind of stepping past probably like whatever boyish inclinations you had, of hedonism and
Yeah. I was an absolute degenerate outside of me coming home, and my family's biggest thing was, "You're an example." You know, I would come home smelling like weed. I would come home middle of the night. I would do these things that I look back on, and I wish that I knew the position that I was in and the level of example that I had to set for some of the greatest humans that I've ever came in contact with. I'm not saying that because they're my family. I'm saying that because we all came from the same place and we made it out, and made it out of what I would consider just poverty, you know? And this is something that helped shape me at this time in my life. I worked at my dad had a restaurant, and I worked as a pizza cook, and I did that for a couple of years. Then I worked at Men's Warehouse, and when I was 16, I got expelled from school, and I had to finish my degree at night school. And just to give you the night school program in my town, I mean, kids were literally getting Narcaned and like ODing in my classroom, and like, you know,
Wild.
people from anywhere from like 16 to 32 years old. It was just, people would say to me, I worked full time at Men's Warehouse, which was a Forbes listed top 100 sellers company, which meant a lot. You know, I got to see this corporate infrastructure thing. I got a taste of it. I got a taste of what my life could have looked like. And I didn't know what to do with it. You know, like I talked to you about the dog behind the fence, and I was that dog for so long, just barking at every car that drove by. And just like the train station metaphor that I use, you know, I was on the train station, got off at the first stop, and just watched them all pass by me and sat there on my phone, for lack of a better metaphor. And I spent when my brother-in-law left, I babysat a lot. My sister's kids, I would consider my kids. This is my nephew. I left in 2012, and this is my lock screen still, which is my nephew Austin.
Love it.
When he was 4 or 5 years old, and I put him on my back, put him in the stroller, go where. I mean, I tried to be a father figure to him at the age of 17, and man, let's just talk about the brutal truth. My sister, as inspiring as she was, I had started, my mom's house was getting foreclosed on. And my sister was saving money to get another house instead of fixing the house or maybe taking over the one that my mom had bought initially. It was falling apart. And she had, like, I don't know how much money at the time saved, but long story short, you know, for a little eighth of weed or something like that, you know, maybe a little 20 out to ATM, maybe a little 40. I did this for a consistent amount of time to rack up like a couple $1,000s, where she had figured this out when I was a teenager and was devastated because I was my sister's favorite. And it let her down a lot. And a lot of my family, who had at one moment in life saw some version of hope in me, thinking that I was a bright kid or whatever it may be, I watched them all just dissipate from my life. And to jump a little bit ahead, when I was 18, when I finished my night school program, my grandmother, who just passed away, she said, "Oh, you're going away. good luck with whatever it is you're doing. Just like not anything. I remember it for how tasteless she was sending her grandson off into the abyss. I was moving to the Outer Banks.
Mm-hmm.
I told my mom, I don't want to become a statistic. I'm sick and tired of living out here, between gang violence and addiction. There was way higher odds of me ODing and dying or becoming a part of that poverty than there was of me becoming a millionaire or doing something that would allow me to be financially free to stop this pain, to stop this version of suffering that I think can be avoided with focus. And I skipped a story. Before I moved to the Outer Banks, I got hired as a car salesman at a Honda dealership when I was 18 years old, and I walked a few miles to work each way. I was a heavyset kid, so I was in a suit, and what I would do is I'd wear a t-shirt and shorts, and I'd walk, and I'd bring my suit with me on a hanger. And they had a shower for the mechanics upstairs. And I would get there at like 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning. Dealership wasn't open till 9 o'clock, so I'm there hours before for no reason at all. Living at Gam's house at the time, so I wasn't at my parents or at my mom's house, my mom and my sister's house. And I had this job, and within 30 days, I had like crushed it. And these guys, like I was like number 2 on the board or number 3. I sold 16 cars, and it was like unheard of at the time. Oh, that new kid, And all I had was work ethic. That's all I had. I didn't know the difference between a 4-cylinder or 6-cylinder engine, and I tell people that all the time. I didn't know a car. I did not. I only knew how to talk to people. And
Has that always been a thing?
Since I was a kid,
Yeah.
I've always been a talker, as they say.
Yeah.
And then instead of how to hone that gift, I gravitated towards sales. And man, when I was in this level of selling, my 3rd month, at the very beginning of my 3rd month, I got one of my good friends at the time, Nick Stafford, hired. And I was like, yeah, man, we just fucking take a car out and we do whatever we want. Just, go cruising it.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to like act cool in front of them and like, hey, come on, let's go. And they give you like a sign-on bonus if your buddy stays for like 90 days. And I'm trying to get the sign, I'm trying to get him hyped up about being there. And instead of being cooped up in an office all the time watching these videos. And I'm like, yeah, let's go for a ride. So I take this little hoopty Kia Monte, and I was like, yeah, let's go. So we're going down. The State Forest wasn't far from the dealership. It's like this little back road. And it would just go straight forever, a couple mile like straight away. It's 25 to the State Forest. I was going like 80 probably.
Is it gravel road?
It's a very sketchy paved road. So, but the cool thing was I went down one way, busted a Yui, and when I was coming back, I'm flying, right? So I'm like 89. I'm like in a place where once again, the speed limit is like 15, 25 miles an hour. And it's very strictly enforced. And I was taking advantage of this small little back road. And I'll never forget, I'm driving, and out of the corner of my eye, there's like some tree a little bit over this sign that says, stop ahead. And I'm like, I had to have been cruising. Stop sign right at the end of the road, come over a hill, turns into a 9-degree turn. There's these boulders, probably the size of the chair you're sitting on. And the car hit the boulder. And when it hit the boulder, it flipped 6 times and flew 40 feet from where it initially impacted. Yeah, 40, 50 feet from where it initially impacted. And I just remember this white light and this white noise just overtaking my body and everything around me, because the feeling of helplessness is an absolute wild feeling, as I like to give the correlation to where, imagine if in your current stature, someone just came up to you and picked you up like a baby and just gave you a couple 360s and said, oh, completely helpless in the moment. Everything stops. Look over at Nick. He's okay. I'm like looking, touching myself. I'm okay. I always heard that people can be in shock and who knows what's wrong. The door on my side was crushed in with a curtain side, so we kicked out Nick's door and exited to the passenger side. And there were people watching me speed, and they knew what happened, and they knew how it happened, and I almost hit somebody when I came over that hill. And I crashed a car at the first car dealership that I worked at. And I just remember sitting inside the ambulance Like, I remember sitting in the back and the EMS driver, which I haven't thought about this in I can't tell you how long. I remember saying to him, because I had already messed up. My sister had already, I was already gone from my sister's house. I'd already forgotten this life that, you know, I had spent my whole life living, being a caretaker and a big brother or a little brother and a big brother. And I tried to escape this to try to catch the bag, you know, as I said back then. And, man, I'm in a neck brace. I'm sitting there on the stretcher and I'm just bawling my eyes out. And I'm just telling this guy who's probably in his 40s, 50s, I'm saying, my life's over. He's like, no, kid, you don't know it's not. And I said, man, you don't get it. This was all I have. If I get fired, I have nothing. I'm staying at Gam Gam's house in the back room, man. You know, like this is a challenging environment for an 18-year-old kid. And yeah, so that was my issue, was me thinking that my world ended with this car accident. And I'll never forget it. He said, "Oh, kid, how old are you?" I said, 18. He goes, "This ain't nothing."
Dude, shout out to the man,
the EMS driver.
For real.
I wish that I look back on this and it's fun. I laugh at it like, damn, Sam, you little idiot, you know? Like I took it for granted what he had said to me.
You shrug it off.
Yeah. I
you
get
can't
there,
receive
I'm
that.
in this hospital bed, and this guy that I admired more than anybody in my life at the time, this guy named Jack Clegg, he was the guy that hired me at this dealership, which is just a funny long story to how I got hired. You know, I got hired there and then by a guy. He said, "Hey, you know, quit your job and this is when you're going to start." I get there and the entire staff that hired me, like all the managers and GMs, have been fired. So there's like this new squad there that's like, "Who are you, kid?" You know? But Jack was the one that made the executive decision to allow me to be a salesperson at the age of 18. It's a rare thing to be a salesperson at 18 at
for
a
sure.
at a Honda dealership. And so he comes to the hospital and he's like, "Hey, kid, you know, I just want to make sure you're okay." You know, and I'm like, wow, like I didn't look at it from the level of risk management that I understand today, but I thought there was a level of genuineness, and I'm like, oh man, you know, he came here, you know, maybe I didn't lose my job, and maybe I can just pay back the car, and we can figure it out, and all these different things, and I'd taken a couple of days off. I came back to work, and they fired me on the spot right when I got there. And I was bawling my eyes out, and I had a girlfriend that lived in Boston at the time, and just I dug deeper into the hole that I ran away further from the dark cloud that was coming my way instead of running directly towards it. And it was for lack of a better term, an eye-opening experience, because at that moment I felt like I had nothing. I've been lower than that, I guess, after that in my life, but at that moment, that was the lowest I'd ever felt. And I decided that, you know, there was nothing back home for me. There was no purpose for me. Like I'd said, I'd really saw the whole becoming a statistic thing, a reality of my life, given the circumstances that I put myself in. So my best friend at the time, Lonnie, he said he had just came back from the Outer Banks, and he's like telling us about all this craziness. And I'm like, an island in North Carolina? They got islands in North Carolina, you know?
It sounds like a magical
He's
place.
like,
dude.
it's a sandbar, man.
Yeah.
They got horses on the beach, and you know, everyone wears swim trunks everywhere, flip flops. You know, they're just. And I'm like, man, you know. And he goes, "Do you want to come with me down there? I'm going to go down there for the summertime. You know, like we're going to go work down there, and I got you a job lined up, and we're going to take this place over, and let's do it. You know, Firefly Restaurant, and I got hired there at $7.25 an hour as a dishwasher, and they just put us to work, man. I mean, they just put us to work. And me and Lonnie were I had 250. My claim is that I had $250, a backpack, and a trash bag full of clothes, and that's all I left my hometown with when I was 18. And that's why my grandmother, who I had 100 of that 250 was hers, that I was just going down there, and she was like, "Good luck with whatever it is you're doing," because I couldn't articulate that I was going to be a dishwasher for $7.25 on the Outer Banks. I was going down there to be a beach bum, is what now I look back at it, what I was really doing. And when I moved to the Outer Banks when I was 18. We lived in a motel called the Ebb Tide, which is currently demolished, no longer there.
Where's this at?
On
Like
the on
Kitty
the
Hawk?
yeah, no, on the beach road in Kill Devil Hills.
Okay, okay.
So right across, I forget the name of that sketchy other motel that was across the street from it, but so we go down there. I'm just embracing my first night there. I pull up to a 7-Eleven, crazy car ride to get there. I'm like, rubbing my eyes, like, where am I?
Mm-hmm.
And we get to the 7-Eleven, and there's a sign on the door, and it says, no shirt, no shoes, no problem. And I was just like, whoa, where'd they come up with that one? So I'm like testing a theory. I'm like, take my shirt off, kick my shoes off, walk into this place, and the lady's just on her phone, like a movie, like bubblegum popping. And and I'm like, they don't care,
Mm-hmm.
like, and we're like in a 7-Eleven, like where I'm from, it's like a corporate store. To like, get out of here,
Yeah.
and I just like, it was just completely a different lifestyle to me in that exact moment. And we stayed at this motel. I worked at Firefly. I ended up just getting into a slew of problems when I was there. And, that 725 an hour was a great thing at the time because it offered some version of stability.
Mm-hmm.
There's 4 of us in a motel room. Lonnie and his girlfriend slept on one bed. Then Lonnie's brother, my other best friend, we slept on the other bed, head to toe every night. And it's just this ran down Roach Motel, and they let us
Mm-hmm.
pay by week. And
Yep.
it was just
I know the vibe.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so we had worked for a while. We got accused of stealing plates at the Firefly, like glass. It was weird. I never stole anything from that place.
Let the record
Let
stand.
the record say, yeah, I was an absolute degenerate. I'd stolen from I had stolen from family, but at this time I hadn't stolen from Firefly.
Yeah.
Because they let us eat whenever we want to, which was like another blessing of being there because
Mm-hmm.
I was a starving kid. I didn't even understand how I had to like, what's my next meal? Well, I wasn't eating outside because I had no money. So it was
Mm-hmm.
like my only place of nourishment in essence. And then same thing with Anthony and Jen back at the hotel room. Like we had to like package them up food and then bring it back. And we're like eating scraps in essence,
Mm-hmm.
not anything to where I've came in life. These are my roots and what made me strong. And that's what fortified my willingness to just jump into that void. And I had a natural knack for saying, I wasn't going to let anything hold me back from what it is that I wanted. The problem was that I didn't know what I wanted.
Yeah.
So I was running around a place very aimless, a very sacred place, very aimless. And that's where I met a lot of people that I know. Kill Devil Hills is a beautiful place. The Outer Banks period is a beautiful place. But my first summer there, I made connections with people that I still have today. There's people that I grew up with my whole life, 18 years in Massachusetts. I maybe talked to 1, 2 people,
Mm-hmm.
if that. In reality, just one. Just one person in my hometown, 1.5. In the Outer Banks, Tyler, my best friend Alex, Dennis, Andrew. I met people that shaped my life there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was underneath the whole preface of no shirt, no shoes, no problem. And embracing that way of life was something that I couldn't even imagine that. Even right now, thinking back on it, I'm like, do they still do that out there? Like, is it still that free? I've been gone for so long. But that's where I landed, was the Outer Banks. And I met some great people. And at the end of the summer, we moved to Harrisonburg, JMU. And at the end of the summer, they all moved, and I said, I'm not leaving, And I was staying in my friend's, like his girlfriend's like spare room with like this little mattress in it. They called it like the game room or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed in there. They were just absolutely a beautiful family that accepted me into their home. I had no job, I had nothing, and they just let me crash there. And my buddy had, I was living off of Papa John's pizzas, and he had a little coupon, $5 medium special or 1 topping at Papa John's. I mean, that was like a come up for me, that was like 2 days of food. And I'm going to parties, I'm drinking, smoking, just doing everything I wasn't supposed to be doing, but getting it out of my system, So we moved. I ended up getting sucked into going to James Madison University and staying in Mount Crawford, Virginia. I was there working at Bath and Body Works and Express limited brands, like
Nice.
just grinding. And I was like, I just got sick of my two jobs. I'm like, man, I'm grinding for like 80 hours a week for like $700 or six, not even, not, that was way too much of a give, like 400 or 500 bucks. And I'm like, I'm not doing anything but working pretty much, you know? Cause at the time during the holidays, like Bath and Body Works stayed open overnight to do all their like it was crazy, this corporate infrastructure. So I was like, I'm fucking sick of this. I need to go to a car dealership and see if I can finesse somebody.
Because you knew that you could sell
I
still. Like
could,
you have like
yeah.
a genuine skill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I that's what I was doing at the two places I was working at. I was just making no money. And
Oh, you were still selling the whole time?
at Bath and Body Works and Express, when you're like there, it's so funny. Like just on a random tangent, the things that I absorbed throughout the years. Everybody buys something when they walk into Bath and Body Works. They have the highest retention of somebody walking in and
That is
buying
true.
something. Dude, it's a place where you can spend 50 cents and leave with
Yeah.
something. You spend $500 and leave with something.
Yeah.
You know, everybody walks in, so it's like they just put each person in a little corner, and you just watch the shelves and everybody that walk by. And they're like, my revenues on the men's side, which nobody would come to the side that I was on because it was like Bath and Body Works had just released their men's products. And I was convincing every lady that walked by, what's your husband smell like?
Yeah.
You know? And that
Yeah.
was like, if your fragrance is here, why isn't his fragrance here?
Yeah.
And
And that's such a different game to play too. It's like so outside of car salesmanship.
Yeah, it
Just
definitely
finding
is.
ways into people's lives. Yeah.
Yeah. And that and at Express, I'm like folding jeans, and I remember standing there at the Express wall, like putting shirts in, and I'm like, all right, you know, extra small, small, medium, large, extra large. And I just remember saying like, why don't they have a fucking extra medium here? You know, this is the perfect place for an extra medium. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh, Sam, you are fucking too deep over here. Get out of here.
Yeah.
You know, talking about shirt walls. And I'm like, get out of here. So I can't remember the exact pivot. Either it was keeping me full time. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I said, they had this little auto mile where they had like, 10 dealerships on this one road. And I had gone to like 4 dealerships, and they pretty much, and then the 5th one that I went in there and I filled an application, and these bastards made me sit there for like over 2 hours and just wanted to see what I would do sitting there for 2 hours waiting for somebody. Guy comes out, hey man, he's actually really busy. Do you care to come back? And I'm like, dude,
Like,
I'm
what
here
the
for
fuck are you talking about?
You just
Yeah.
walked behind a door and told me someone would be out here in a minute to talk to me. I've been patiently waiting here. Now that I know they were testing me. What was I gonna leave? Was I gonna stay? I go through the interview process there. They hire me. They pretty much did a god awful job of checking into me, which I thought was hilarious. They just used one person off my reference list and called him, and that guy was such a model person. Like I had such a good shout out Ray, who I
Shout out Ray.
just saw a couple weeks ago, which was beautiful to reconnect with, which is even funny why I'm telling the story. Ray gave me the blessing to this guy and said, man, if you hire that kid, you're making a good choice for your dealership. And this guy calls me Corey Sodakoff, and he's like, all right, man, this is when you start, can you be here on time? I'm like, buddy, yeah,
You're like
I'm
just
ready. I'm
itching
like,
for it,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm like, my living situation was I had 3 comforters and 2 very like these types of pillows put inside of a pillowcase as a bed. Like that's where I was sleeping. My clothes were stashed in the cheap plastic drawers that they sell at Walmart. I had nothing in my room. I had nothing. I had nothing at all. I was running out of the clothes. I had less clothes than when I got there and less money probably. And I was just hungry, and I knew that I knew I needed to do something different than what I was doing. So I started this job at Stephen Toyota in Harrisonburg, Virginia. And to make a long story short, it was a 15, 20, I can't remember. There was a lot of salespeople that worked there. And I had started doing my thing naturally and climbing up to the top. And I was like, I'm doing this. In that time, the end of the winter had came around, and Lonnie and his girlfriend said, hey, actually, we're going to go back to the beach because we could start work a month early. We're going to leave you and Anthony here and then just bring Anthony to the Outer Banks, and we'll go back when we're done. I just landed this sick ass job. I got a cool house out in the country with some goats at it. We're throwing parties. Like, we were having 150 plus person parties at our house. Like, it was insane. Like,
Huge switch for
it
you.
was insanity.
Yeah.
Like, we had always said, like, let's have a Project X party. And then here we are. Like, I don't know why these people let us sign the lease and take over their farmhouse. And JMU was a crazy place. I mean, they get down.
They do get down.
Yeah,
Yes, they
and
do.
we got down at our spot. We had they had a DJ. All this stuff just fell into place. So I'm like partying, and then I'm going to work every day. And Lonnie and his girlfriend leave. They didn't pay the light bill, and so now I'm in a house with no electricity, and the water taps in by the electricity, whatever pump. No water, no electricity. Working 50 to 60 hours a week at a car lot, driving. I had my first car ever I got when I was in Virginia, and it was a '94 Cadillac DeVille, and it just 9 miles a gallon. Like, the worst thing a broke person could be driving is a '94 Cadillac DeVille. If anybody, take that to heart. And it was a North Star engine, which is notably the worst engine ever made. But I'll tell you about that later. We no power, no water in the middle of the country, no money, like, just like, wow, the world really was like caving in essence. But me and Anthony we had faith in ourselves, and we knew that wasn't it. So we go to Planet Fitness one night because that's where we're taking showers at. We'll just get out of the house. It was the gas was kind of the hard part, but we made it work. And we get to Planet Fitness, and I like go to open a we snuck in, and we didn't have memberships. And I go in, and I go to open up a locker like anybody does to like, go throw my stuff in, and then I open it up, and there's just a wallet in there. And I'm like, dun, dun, dun. It's kind of funny, my perception. I'm thinking, oh God, thank you. Now I'm looking back at like the devil, you bastard, like, you got me. And I'm like, oh damn, it's small. I pop it open. I'm like, yeah, like, I don't know, like $5. I don't know if he had cash in there. And he had these cards in there, and I was just like, I saw it, I looked up at it, and I was like, let's get the fuck out of here. We're good. And we leave there, and we just smashed some cookout trays, man. Like, right away, got some cookout trays because we were starving. Every bit of 24 hours plus since we ate, we're starving. We each got 2 cookout trays. And then we went across the street to the gas station and then get gas, right? And I'm like, just ate some cookout. I got a little debit card we just stole in my pocket. I'm like, yeah. And for anybody watching, just the absolute worst idea. And petty larceny. And I go to this gas station, and I'm a natural salesperson, is what I get told all the time. And there's this lady just complaining about whatever, like about her car, about how she's gonna give it. And I said, ma'am, you deserve to drive something nicer, newer. Why are you driving a little hoopty giving you problems like that? Here's my card. I'm Sam Hatch from Steven Toyota. In the back, it was a 7-Eleven. In the back of that 7-Eleven, there's 2 cops just chilling there. I was a degenerate. I thought I was smarter and better than anybody. I'm like, 2 pigs in the back. Fuck it, let's go. Little Tokido action. We're living the good life. I leave. I go up to the pump. I had fake tags. Like, for the guy that I'd bought the car from Richmond, Virginia, which is not the nicest area. And this guy was definitely too cool, and he's like, I got these tags, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with them. I was leaving them on there. Turns out the tags didn't even go to. It was just funny. He stole the tags. Somebody stole the tags at some point. I didn't, but I guess I did. I got gifted them. Receiving of stolen property. Another one. So I'm in this '94 DeVille. I hand this lady my card. I'm like, I'm loving life at this moment. I'm getting a full tank of gas right now, shawty. I hit the premium button. I'm like, for the first time, old Betty got some premium in her, because it says premium gas only on the thing, and I never fucking. I'm over here, diluting gas to get to where I'm going and running off of fumes, and I'm filling up. So I'm like zinging. Leave, go home, go to work, and just kept busting my ass. And less than a week later, a guy came into my dealership, and that used to work there, and went and said hi to my GSM, Corey Sodikoff. Not shout out Corey, he's actually a dirtbag, but he let this guy come in there, and basically they called me up to what we call the tower and had me go up there. He's like, hey, do you have a da-da-da-da? He just asked me a random question, and that guy was standing behind him. I wasn't correlating anything. I was like, no. And then I walk away. That was the police officer that actually wasn't a detective. It's kind of funny because this guy went through this crazy legwork to get me in the position that he had me in. Anyways, they were allowing that police officer to come in there, and they were having him identify me, and like they were like, oh, this kid's about, you know what I'm saying, and going through these things, and they had said to me, you know, I come to work the next day after this, and they say, hey, Sam, oh, here, come back to the conference room. You know, like my general manager, Ryan Sodikoff, who I've never met a more lackadaisical, sharp tool like that guy, to be handed everything that he has. He's worked for everything he has, but it's 100% handed to him. He did not silver spoon 100% generational wealth. I think that even if that wasn't the case, he probably would have went out and got it on his own. But he's like, hey, man, could you follow me real quick? And I'm like, oh, my God, Ryan. So I'm like, my shirt tucked in, you know. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, walking me back to the conference room. We did trainings there with Joe Verde, like that's just a huge name in the car industry, Grant Cardone, all these crazy things. And I'm like, am I about to get some special one-on-one? I'm like, what's going on? I'm like ecstatic. And we walk in, and he's like walking in front of me, like opens the door and holds it for me. He's like, after you. And I'm like, all right, what the fuck, you know? And I walk in, and there's a police officer sitting at the table, and he shuts the door behind me. And this guy essentially, I don't know what that, I have a huge love for law enforcement in today's day and age, but that was the biggest piece of shit police officer I've came in contact with.
Yeah.
And he sat down with me, and he's going through this thing. Oh, I knew that. And just, he goes, hey man, look, this doesn't have to be a problem. I see you're a bright young kid. You have a good job for some good people. So I'm going to give you this opportunity. All you have to do is just write down the name to the person that you were with that night that swiped the card. It's my best friend. All he did was fucking pump the gas when I went inside. You know what I'm saying? That's all they had on video. They didn't have us at cookout with me doing it. You know, they just had us fucking pumping gas. He goes, I just need the name of the guy you were with, man. I know this wasn't a you thing, so how about you just do that? And I just said, I'm like thinking to myself, like, do you think I'm fucking soft?
Yeah.
You
Growing up where you grew up.
I have an ID that says Massachusetts. It's not, I heard a phrase when I moved down south. It was snitches get stitches. Where I'm from, it's snitches get left in ditches. So it was a huge disconnect from what a rat is considered. And even to this day, I'm not selling out. I'm not diving out my best friend. And I didn't. And I'm thinking that I'm fucking still the smartest one in the room, and I can talk my way out of anything. And he's like, if you don't mind, us shows me 2 pieces. These are warrants signed by a judge. If you don't mind, stand up, put your hands behind your back. And I'm like, dude, could you do me a favor? Like, could you just let me walk out of here on my own accord and not arrest me in the showroom? Like, we're fucking in the middle of the fucking dealership. Like, and he goes, nah. And he fucking cuffed me and walked me all the way out to that fucking car and put me in the back. And I'll never forget Ryan Sodikoff. The last thing I ever heard him say, man, it really was him. Yeah, it was. Like, he was really bright, and I had a future plan for him. And I was like, is it in my head? Subliminally, now I look back at it, like he was probably doing that intentionally, maybe. But either way, if he did or didn't, these people were investing in me. And like we were talking about, hard to receive help, right? Like I could have just gone and asked them. I could have just asked for something. I could have said, hey man, I'm struggling so bad. Can I get an advancement on, I could have done so many things. I could have advocated differently. I don't have a time machine, so it doesn't matter. But looking back at it, I was so misguided that I thought that was my only option. And I was misguided. And the night that I get arrested, Lonnie had came back that weekend with some friends of ours from Massachusetts. And the power wasn't on, so we staying at our buddy's house, leaving me and Anthony at that house. And he knew I got arrested and I needed to get billed out. And it was like, dude, it was like $100 or $150. They all spend the money on acid and weed and start tripping at my buddy's house instead, and stopped answering my phone calls when I was in jail.
Jesus.
So I called the most beautiful, amazing woman that she doesn't acknowledge it. I try to tell her all the time. She shaped my life in ways that she loved me in ways that, friendship-wise, that I'd never been loved as a friend before. As I just told you, my best friends are tripping acid and doing this thing, and I'm like sitting there to myself, like, they're not answering. I called Bonnie, and she answered. She said, "What's it take, Sam?" And I said, "It's $150." She said, "I'll be there in a little while."
Who is this woman, dude?
I worked with her at Bath and Body Works.
Word.
Just
Like kind soul you came across.
Man, before that, she made, before and after that, she used to make me and Anthony dinner, and we used to have movie night at her house all the time. And she knew that we were in a bad spot, and she would bring us to her house and just show us real unconditional love. She doesn't even, I said it to her like, oh, like she sees where I'm at today, and she's like, I didn't do any, what did I do for you? And I'm like, Bonnie, you don't even, I never had this before. You're fucking asking me my favorite meal. I thought she was just asking in a conversation. She fucking makes me a shepherd's pie. She's like, what's the thing that you miss back home most? And I was like, man, my mom used to make this fire ass fucking shepherd's pie and this fire ass lasagna. You know, I would definitely go home, and we go over and she's got it prepared. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it was just a blessing. Before I knew what a blessing was, it was a blessing. She nurtures me. I go, my friends are all tripping. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? You know, like, you guys couldn't even come bail me out. You're tripping, Sat. You didn't answer my call. They didn't expect to see me. I'm like, you know, fuck this. I go back to the house with no power, pass out, wake up the next day, early, get to work, because I'm thinking innocent till proven guilty. I walk into work. Everyone's looking like they're like staring at a ghost.
Yeah.
And I didn't put two and two together, and they came and got me, and they're like, yeah, nah, man, hey, if the charges clear up, you can come back. Or they said something fucking slick. And I'm in my raincoat. It's pissing. It is torrential downpours at this time. I'm at work. And my 94 Old Faithful Cadillac DeVille, I'm in there for a little bit, whatever. And then they fire me. They shit can me right there. I walk outside. I'm crying a little bit. I was like, I kind of expected this. I walk out to my car, and there is a flat tire. And once again, when I didn't know what blessings were, what a blessing. And what a reminder that when we think everything could be just so bad, how worse and worse and worse it could be, depending on how deep you could go down that rabbit hole. And I left. I go to court for all these things, and I have a court-appointed lawyer. He's like, yeah, kid, hey, look, no jail time. This is fucking, we'll get this shit taken care of. He's like, you're going to have to do some community service, and you're going to have to pay some restitution and fine. I said, all right, yeah, I'm down. Yeah, let's do it. Okay. So they drag this, you know, what do you have these court dates? I'm like, I've gone like 5 court dates. Nothing happens. On the 5th one, I go there. I'm driving like, I forget how far Harrisonburg was from the beach. It was like, I think it's like 5 hours, 4 hours. I can't remember exactly. And I remember I'm going there, and then I go there to go to court, and I'm like, all right, we're finally getting this done. He's like, hey, we're finishing it today. I like go to my lawyer's office. He's like, and then anyways, we go in there, and then he like goes into a back room and comes out and goes, hey, follow me. And we go out there. He goes, all right, kid, great news. They wanted to give you 6 months, but I got it down to 30 days. And I'm like,
you're like, dude,
keep in mind, I just told my work I was going to be gone. I was working in the Outer Banks. We had gone to the Outer Banks. I was back on the beach. I had a girlfriend. I was renting a room. Like, my life was there. I was trying to establish. This wasn't real life, but I was trying to establish
something to stand on.
Yeah. Stability, like we talked about yesterday. Like, just trying to formulate some type of stability. And I was never being truthful to myself in this entire time. I just absolute degenerate. I look back at it, and so I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, what do you mean? You said I was going to get no jail time. I'm 19 years old. This is Rockingham County. They're holding people that are going to do life sentences or the death. They're literally, this is a holding place for criminals, you know? And he's just like, hold on one second. He goes back. He's like, I got it down to 2 weeks for you. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
What's going on?
Yeah. And I'm like, he's like, there's no felony involved. You got tampering with the identity. I don't even know, dude. And then he's like, come on, we're going to go in here and we're going to settle. He's like, great news is, kid. He's like, you got to get your affairs. If you can get your affairs in order, I'll buy you a couple weeks time if you can come back at a certain day, or you'll have a warrant out for your arrest. And I was like, what? Like, like I can leave after I get sentenced and
like
come
none
back
of this
to
makes
do
any fucking sense to you.
Yeah, no, not at all. In modern day, I would throw in that county, I would have tossed so much money at some large law firm to just overload that place. I look back at it once again to the core of what my message is in this whole thing is poverty. I didn't have the money. I didn't have the accessibility. I wasn't using this the way that it should have been being used. And I'm sitting like 2 weeks, fuck, I gotta come back. So I'm like, get my affairs in order. I'm like, fuck, my old lady's gone, my old lady, my job. I go to Eileen at the Ramada, who's our food and beverage director, and I tell her, and she's like, honey, oh, no, I need people. 2 weeks, don't worry about it. I'm like, oh, great. And then, I'm renting a room at the time, and he's like, I don't know, he didn't care. And like, my girlfriend was like, why are you going to jail? Like, like I'm dating a criminal. Like, I don't know how it was just funny in essence because of who I was and what I was doing. And I go back to the Outer Banks, get whatever affairs in order, go back to Rockingham County, and I do my 2 weeks, where for the second time in my life, I had met somebody that had talked about the Bible and how much it did for them and the whole ideology behind the freedom of thinking. And my cellie was Gerald Inman, and at 60 years old, he had spent over 35 years in jail. And he was is a habitualized. His story is crazy. I'll make it quick. He stole a bunch of beers from a convenience store, and it was like a winter night. And there's like this small hill. Him and his buddies are in this piece of shit van. They ran out with 30 racks. They're kids, right? And they escaped, but they knew, and they called the law, and they're like, this is back when this place was like country, and can't remember the name of the town. Anyways, it's outside of Harrisonburg. So they're like, it's country. He is going down this hill, and a cop pulls out in front of him to cut him off, so he's at the top of this hill. Well, it was the winter months in the mountains of Virginia, so he hits the brakes, he starts sliding, T-bones the cop car, right? Cop gets fucked up, broke something, pinched something, got discharged. He got the book tossed at him for this charge. I can't remember what it was, but it was something staggering.
In small towns like that too, they will like go to war.
It was somewhere between 10 to 15 years is what they sentenced him. His first ever offense. I don't know, maybe I say first offense, but anyways, he gets out of jail at the height of the crack epidemic, ends up falling into that. He already has these felonies from before, gets put into this predicament. Once again, a long story short, he goes back in front of a judge. They see his record. They see he can't pass parole. He can't do anything. Gives him 5 years, repeated the process. And by his third, when he became habitualized, they gave him 25 years. So I met Gerald at this crossroad, and he was my cellie and taught me the ins and outs of being in the pokey. Nobody played spades with him. Nobody played chess with him. Nobody played any card games with him. None of anything, because he was a master at all of it and would take lunches from people. Like, don't play with the white hair guy. He's been in here for more than half of his life.
Yeah.
And Gerald had talked to me about scripture. Nobody had taken that much time, but Gerald did. And he did it in a way where he let me decipher it. He let all my contradictions float to the top, and him just pick each one out and say, no, this is this, and then revert to this, and then I'm like, what the fuck? And now I'm like 2 weeks into my I'm like hearing voices at this point, like going crazy. They thought that I was like an informant of some kind because I wasn't doing that long, and I kept asking people why they were there. I'm just a friendly fucking kid, and I didn't know the norms. You're not supposed to ask people these things, and I have no idea, And all my friends are gangsters, but none of my friends were in there. And there was this kid named Star that was in there that used to come to our house parties, and he like co-signed for me, and he's like, yo, this kid's not a rat. I used to, smoke weed, drink, and do all sorts of stuff. He's good, And just one quick little, my 2 weeks, we have rec, and there's this dude in a blue jumpsuit. All of our jumpsuits are orange and green, and there's this dude in the blue one. And he had tattoos that were very similar to my friends back home. And I'm like, oh man, I was like, my friends are, they do that too. And he's like looking at me fucking weird. And I'm like, man, I was like, what'd you do to get up? And he's like my age. He's 19. Kid's like 20 something years old. Younger black kid from Richmond. And he goes, I'll never forget this. He goes, why are you asking me so many? I'm 2 questions in. Why are you asking me so many questions? And I'm like, what? And then we're out at rec. Turns out these guys are about to come stab me. This kid he was in there for a triple homicide, one being a police officer, a state trooper. This was news in I can't remember, Charlottesville is where he was from. This was news in this area at the time. And this kid's, and then my buddy Star, turns out they're like childhood best friends. He's like, nah, 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 nah.
Oh
And I'm over here at my
shit!
first
Wow.
rec, like, a week of being in the pokey. I'm at like rec, we're like in this basketball, and I'm just thinking like, yo, the dude's in a blue jump. I was the first one in there. He was already in there. I'm just
You're just
shooting the shit.
curious.
I have no fucking idea these
Yeah.
norms, norms on the
Yeah.
inside versus norms on the
Probably a
outside.
lot worse even too that you like recognize some of his shit and
Yeah.
he's real
Yeah, and I'm
suspicious.
such a, for lack of a better term, I'm such a white boy to anybody, and they
Hmm.
have no idea where I'm from, where I came from, and how I
You can't
represent
know that unless
myself.
you have a long conversation with you that you're
Yeah,
like privy.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I multifaceted.
Yes.
I've, as Macho Man says, I've slithered with the snakes and I've soared with the eagles.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really resonate with that because I have, and
Hmm.
I think that's what sets me aside in my current climate that I'm in, and how I can gauge people and articulate a situation and
A
be able
hundred
to.
percent growing up in like those types of situations opens you up to a different type of perception and empathy and also like interpersonal navigation. It's a wild skill set to have. I recognize
Yeah,
that in you like right away. I'm like, okay, this kid's been through some
thank you.
shit because I grew up around those people, and I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, this kid dude knows some stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That was my life, and I didn't know. Here I am. I'm trying to embody this thing that I realized after going to jail. I'm not. Fuck that.
Hmm.
I'm like, whoa. Let's talk about scared straight.
Hmm.
Put anybody in the pokey for 2 weeks in Rockingham County and put Gerald in as their celly. We could scare a lot of kids straight and make a better humanity, because that was the first. Now, did I leave there and I was a perfect person? No. But did I leave there a better person than I was when I walked in? Yes, because I realized where doing bad things brought me to. I started looking at my friends and the people around me differently than how I did before. And the biggest help that I had got was in these life or death situations, wondering if I was going to make it out of my 2 weeks or not,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and telling my friend, like, fucking, I'm hearing voices. I'm like, my mind, I couldn't be confined the way that I was. I'm the only person in my pod, no money on my book, no nothing, no nothing, no, I don't even think my family knew.
Hmm.
I'm just doing 2 weeks. It's not like any of them called me in a 2 week period, anyways.
Hmm.
This is before I'd established an unbreakable bond with my brother that we talk every day. And he go, yeah, I do my 2 weeks, and I get out. I go back to the Outer Banks, and I'm like scared straight for like a week or two.
Hmm.
Like, next thing I know, I'm having like I'm having a party, but a very special type of party at my house with my friends came down from Massachusetts, and I'm like, yo, and they're like, where the bitch is at? That's like
Hmm.
the first question asked to me when they get there. And I'm like over here fighting it for the past, I'm like trying to establish, and I'm like, shit, like just
Hmm.
instantly, and I had the most, at the time, I had such a loving girlfriend that had really trusted me at the wrong points in my life. And, different rabbit hole, but nonetheless, I wasn't faithful, and I had all these things and stuff I was doing in my butt, and then that just snowballed. I'm like, I had my own house at 19 on the Outer Banks. All my buddies are graduating. We're
Hmm.
throwing parties. No, there was no regulation at what I was doing.
Hmm.
There was absolutely no regulation to what I was doing down there. The locals hated me. Cops hated me. I moved a different way than most people moved out there, and they weren't used to it. And at the end of that summer, that was our second summer there, everybody did leave. And I forget what Lonnie's plan was. Lonnie and Jen went to Europe, I believe. And I stayed. Stayed. I was like, I'm not leaving. And Anthony stayed with me for a while, but I stayed overall. And Anthony brought his friend down there. Then they got their own place, and I had my own place. Like, everything had worked out to how I guess it was supposed to work out. But yeah, we made so many connections there, and I started meeting people, and I started seeing, to give you just this rewind a little bit, my first week in the Outer Banks, we go to or my first month in the Outer Banks, I can't remember, it was like my third or fourth party. We go to this party and we leave, and everybody's shit faced. I didn't drink even back then. I wasn't like a drinker.
Hmm.
I had to drink with the boys for a great while, like, maybe been drunk less than 20 times, whatever it is. And I go to leave, and this kid, I can't remember his name. Nonetheless, we go to leave, and everybody's drunk, and they're looking for a DD. I'm like, I'm a DD, right? And then
Hmm.
he's like, oh yeah, here. He gives me his keys. It's like fucking kid's like 16, so he's a little younger than me. It's like a brand new Mercedes Benz.
Hmm.
I'm like, ting, ting. I'm like, I see the car in front of us light up. And I'm like, whoa, he wants me to
Let's
drive.
go.
What the
Yeah.
fuck? So we get in the car and then he's like, yo, let's go hit up McDonald's. And I'm like, I ain't got no fucking money for that, kid. He's just like, I'm buying, you know? And I was like, you're buying me? Like, no, my whole life, nobody did that. Nobody, I didn't just meet somebody and then be like, hey, I got you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, whoa. And then we go to this kid's house and I'm like, what the I'm in Martin's Point. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah, you're just in a different reality.
yo, I did not associate with wealthy people at all. I'm just this poor kid, and I always knew what I didn't want to be, but I didn't know what I wanted to be. I always knew that I didn't want to be dead, broken, homeless. That actually, the level of knowingness that I had and what I didn't want to do, and the lack of clarity that I had on what I wanted to do was crazy. But I knew for a fact I did not want to be homeless. And then I see this house, and I'm like, I'm seeing goals resonate in my head. I'm like, what the fuck does it? Hey, what's your dad do? You know, hey, what's your mom do? You know, oh, they don't live here. They had, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you know, like how? I remember one time I was in a house in Chickahawk, and the kid's like, yeah, my dad does swimming lessons. I'm like standing in $1 million home, and I'm like, for fucking who? You know,
Yeah,
like for
frame
Bill Gates,
break, a reality just shattered.
It didn't make sense. This no shirt, no shoes, no problem logic. Everybody was coexisting and moving in this frequency that was like, I don't care. Like, let's just, you know, whatever happens, happens. And I'm starting, as I got a little bit older, embodying this and doing it every day. Every day I was there, I was getting deeper, and then at the end of me being there, I was like, I'm a fucking local, you know, like to all these fucking tourists coming on my beach, you see them litter, we're beating the shit out of somebody.
It's funny how the local scene like does take you in.
Yeah,
you have to like earn your stripes, but like after a while, you're not a Massachusetts kid. You are a local.
I'd considered myself one for 3-4 years on the beach, and job after job, and I'm skipping so much, but I want to lead to the point where I made my breakthrough in life. Was not getting arrested was part. All this stuff was small portions, but the main thing was I was living with my girlfriend at the time in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. I had taken a day off, ironically, to go see Modesty Yahoo on Virginia Beach, which we had talked about. That's just so random. We went to go see Modesty Yahoo on Virginia Beach.
Last time I was in Outer Banks, I saw him.
Yeah, it's just so it's funny. But I took that day off of work, and my manager called me and was like, "You did it." Like, I was like, "Yo, what the fuck, lady? Like, I work 6-7 days a week as a waiter, doing triples, breakfast to dinner, like running fucking $3,000-4,000 in revenues for you guys. Like, I'm thinking, like, why are you on my ass right now? Like, you know, this is 40 waiters and waitresses at this place, Sunset, you know, Bar and Grill in Duck, North Carolina. And I'm like, why is this lady on my ass right now? And it's my buddy's mom. And like, in reality, she was just like, hey, I have a fucking schedule, and I don't care who fucked it up, but you're not here, and I have you here. That's why I'm calling you. I took it the wrong way, and I was like, fuck this job. Fuck that. And I like, we had a crazy ass night at Virginia Beach. I go back, and I go to OBX Chevrolet, and I go to apply for a job, and my girlfriend was waiting out in the car at the time because I think I was just grabbing a resident, like just an application, and the guy wanted to talk to me for a while, and he goes, hey, do you care if we do your drug screening and all this stuff? And I go, hey man, you know, that's the car pulled up in. My girlfriend's been out there for every bit of an hour and a half right now. Car doesn't have AC. Do you care if I just take her home and come back? You know, and then he was just like, I guess. And I'm like, I'm not putting it together. You know what I'm saying? That he's like, you know, that he thinks something fishy is going on. And I go to drop my girlfriend off, and I have her peanut butter so I can pass my piss test. So he definitely had the foresight. And I drop her off, and I go back, and I'm like, fucking like, I'm sweating, taking deep breaths, like bottle of piss taped to my leg, and I'm just like, hopefully they can't tell if it's male or female. And I'm just walking in, and the guy goes, you look pretty disheveled, kid. I'm not interested. And I 180'd and walk out of there. I'm like, fuck. It was like pretty much, there was only 2 car lots on the beach. I bonded both. So I got told from my friend Alex that there was Elizabeth City. This is a Toyota store. Toyota's like Hondas. Toyota was first when I pulled into Elizabeth City. It was before Honda or the other stores. And I get to this Toyota store. Long story short, I apply. The general manager, partial owner, comes up to me and goes, hey, kid, I really need salespeople right now. And I know that we have to do a drug test to hire because that's what HR wants. Not me, HR. He's like, we appease those above. But what I'd ask from you is, do you need time to study for your test? Because if so, that's no problem at all. But if you don't need time to study, we can do this right now. I had already thought ahead for my previous endeavor. I'm bottled
You're
up,
ready.
baby. I'm ready. And to be clear, I've never done any hard drugs my entire life. I've never snorted anything. I've never taken a pill. I've never abused anything. I smoked weed. My mom was a flower child, 35 years in NAAA. Shout out, mom. And she did an excellent job raising me. All I did was smoke weed. And where I was from in Massachusetts, it was legal. It was decriminalized. It wasn't when it came down south and people were like, oh, since I was a kid, it was decriminalized. So I didn't look at it the same way that people look at it out here.
Especially in the South. In the
Yeah.
South, it is crack cocaine.
Yeah, crack. It's same difference, right?
Yeah,
There's no distinct. I can tell who hasn't smoked when they can't distinct the two, you know.
Yeah.
And so I actually spent time trying to understand what the guy was saying, and I took a second. I said, "No, I'm good." You know, I was like, "No, I'm good." And then he's like, "Great, you know, go do it right." And I go and take my piss test, and I get hired at a Toyota store, and my life was ready to change, you know. And my first month there, I sold 4 cars, and I was, I was. If you were to take a bunch of glasses and put them on a table, all of my glasses were empty at this point in my life. I had nowhere else to resource out of, you know. My general sales manager, who was just an absolute piece of shit, had came to me at the end of the month. He said, "I thought you said you sold cars before, and just going on, just going on this rant and demeaning me, and you know, making me feel about this big, you know, Steve Fletcher, and really hurting everything about me." And I'm like, "Fuck." And I remember driving home. It's my second month there. I had a different girlfriend from the previous at the Chevy store. Fast forward some time, I had a new girlfriend who that was the first girlfriend that I definitely loved, and she loved me back and showed it in not just words but actions.
Like a different type of intimacy.
Yeah. She her fam. I mean, I lived with her within like a month of dating. We were
That's
best
wild.
friends. Yeah, we were best friends.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
simpatico.
We hung out all the time and never did anything other than like smoke blunts and chilled. And she was just so fucking cool. And I don't know. I look back at it like I pray about it all the time, but I made such a catastrophic mistake with that, and I would still have a friend to this day had I not. And I she finds out I cheated on her, and there was some definite lies in like what was happening by the person that I had cheated on her with, and we would go through these spats. I'm not gonna put her business out there, but we had something happen to us that was enough to change our perspective on each other, and we would go through these spats, or like, you know, I hate you, I'm done, da, da, da. And like she knew I was homeless with no car, you know, like her parents gave me the car, so she's like, you know, like, come back, don't, you know, like always offered me grace every time, and basically said the only thing, I will forgive you for everything, but I will never forgive you if you cheat on me. And she found out that I cheated on her. I used to use this gray area when we'd go to these spats and I'd go hit up a girl or whatever it may be. I was a literal piece of shit. I was the biggest degenerate. I yet to this day, and just leading up to this long-winded point, I yet to this day met somebody that was a skilled piece of shit like I was. I was really gifted at, instead of presenting and naturally persuading somebody, I was lying. You know, and I was this wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yeah, this is just like a Massachusetts like word, like piece of shit. But like, you're just a kid, like looking for love and stability, though.
And if you
And you were smart,
yeah.
like,
No.
and so you could
I will
manipulate.
I will tell you this. I could say that, but my core, I was, you know, my core was, I was stealing, cheating, and robbing in every aspect of my life, and I only know a piece of shit to do that. And yeah, it is a Massachusetts thing, and I say that with, I'm still a piece of shit to this day, to be clear. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not the same piece of shit that I was. Now my faults are like eating and not working out, and like, you
I know
know,
what you mean,
these
yeah.
different levels of piece of shit. And I so I ended up, she figured it out, and all my words couldn't win her back. And I had used my words for everything, to obtain everything at this point. And now this narcissistic, I'm starting to realize like, oh, it's not going my way. And just, I put this poor girl, the second person in my life that treated me right, I just put her through the ringer. And we exited, and it was a very toxic thing. But in that time, I didn't have a car, I didn't have a place to live. I had just gotten a job at this Toyota store, needless to say, and I'd sold these cars. My second month there, I'm about to get fired if I don't do a bunch. She breaks up with me, takes the car and the place to live. A kid that I had met for a moment named Alex Sample, which you'll hear us talk about. You maybe heard us mention. He's from Currituck, where he went to school with Tyler and Alec, and he said to me, "Hey man, I didn't know this kid like that. I knew him because he was such a. I didn't know him like this though." He says, "Man, I got a fucking DUI." Well, yeah, he had a DUI at the time. He goes, I can't even drive my car, man. It's just sitting there. My grandma gave me the car. I'd love to see it getting used." I'm like, what the fuck? Remember, this is I'm a poor kid from Massachusetts. Coming into a place and a McDonald's meal to me is like a fucking is like a effort of faith that I was like blown away by this. And then he's like, "Here's my car," and I'm like, "What?" And then my other buddy's like, "Hey, you can stay at the hangout room and we'll get you. You'll be." And I'm like, and I'm ready to fucking kill myself. I once again, that's why I said at the beginning of what I was saying, the crashing the car was a residential home compared to a skyscraper to how I felt, because I had already came all this far. My friends had left. I'm sitting somewhere, and
It's not my phone.
yeah. What is
Whose
that?
phone is that?
Find it real quick.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Whose phone is that?
I don't know.
See how immersed you are? You take off the headset.
Yeah. That's crazy. Is it fucking my other phone in that room? That walked in there?
Continue, brother.
So I had so Alex had let me borrow his grandma's car to get to and from work. I'm feeling so empty, and like I use this comparison of a house versus a skyscraper, and I'm just, man, and I'm like, I'm ready to kill myself, and not. I felt like the world would have been a better place without me. And I have learned, on a side note, that's never the case. No matter who you are, what you did, that is never the case. Never. So I said, this is it, man. Fuck this. Like, this isn't worth waking up for every day. And then I'm going to work. Nothing was going my way. I'm cracking at work because I'm dealing with this breakup and me having nothing again. I hit the restart button. And I leave work, and I don't think I had enough gas to get back. And I'm like, fuck, I need to take a shower, all this stuff. I had a spare clothes in the car, and I pulled over at this YMCA in this parking lot. And I was like, man, fucking, I can just keep the heat on and just fucking sit here overnight and go to bed. And in reality, I was looking to kill myself, but I needed a place to sleep anyways, and I needed to take a shower, and I'm sitting at this parking lot at this random YMCA nighttime, like 9, 10 o'clock at night, and this like random like security thing pulls up, like this guy, like a literal security guard, and I don't even know. I'll never forget it. And he's like, "Hey man, you can't park." And he just looked at me. And he was like, "You're good actually, man. You're fine. Just I might ask for your ID, I can write down so in case something happens, but you're fine to be here." Like he could tell. Like I think my voice cracked, and maybe he saw a tear, whatever it was. And he was like, "You're good, man." And then I slept there. Overnight, and he let me take a shower there, and he didn't talk to me at all. He just said, "No, man, you're good. You'll be all right. You'll be all right," And I had the universe. That was a Saturday going into a Sunday. I go to work on Sunday, and the partial owner, general manager, and the managers there got fired. And these guys, I felt like were like, shitty towards me. And that's where my career started in the auto industry. I started slinging fucking metal. I can't remember if it was my second or third month there, I ended up dropping like 14, 15 cars, then like 18 cars, and 20 cars, and 25 cars, and I'm cracking 30 every month like clockwork. I'm working all the time. My life is progressing. I got a 3-bedroom townhouse. I bought a car. My life like fast tracked from being homeless and ready to kill myself less than a year prior. I had used my want, drive, and ambition to catapult myself into sales. And I still didn't know my purpose, to what it is today. And I when I was working at Toyota, this guy named Daniel Spence, who's an amazing pastor and has Victory Praise and Worship in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. He wasn't my biggest fan for sure, but he knew that he would never break somebody that was already broken. He knew I was not where I needed to be in life. And he just said something to me one day, and I use it all the time. And I try to tell him, he probably doesn't think that it was this influential on me, but he just said, man, you just got to trust the process. No matter what happens or how it happens, you just got to trust the process. And I'm just like, Daniel, what fucking process are you talking about? And he just like, he always had this really nice smirk, and he's like, you'll see, And I was like, what the fuck? It's a process. I'm out here getting fucked by the world, in my eyes at this time. So I made the idea. I was like, I'm selling cars. I'm doing all this stuff. The Bonnies, this guy named Stacy Williams, the Daniels, the Dennises. This is a guy named Dennis. All these people gave me a second opportunity, a third. They gave me what I was never supposed to be given. I was a piece of shit. I was a degenerate. They saw something in me that I never saw. People always say, I heard this recently and I resonate with it more than most things that I hear. Said, isn't it just a crazy place to be when everybody externally is telling you how great you're doing and how awesome you are, and then when you go home, you can't think about how bad you're just failing and selling yourself short. Man, as much as these 4 walls are a gift, it has become an absolute burden of mine. And with my faith in the process, I've been able to use the second chances that I got my whole life. And now I'm in a position where people, they look at the me's of the world all the time and they toss them, just fucking throw them aside. And people use this as a critical claim against me. Sam, you're too nice. Why are you doing that? What is your angle? They don't know what it's like to not know what your next meal is, and I know that's why they're saying that. And I get some version of strength by simply saying to myself, this is, no matter how bad or how good it is, it's God's plan. My current girlfriend today, Dane, the love of my life, the person I will spend the rest of my life with, Olivia, she enlightened me to we're exactly where we're supposed to be at exactly the right time, and everything's going to happen exactly how it's supposed to. I have no horse in this race. I'm just showing up. And when I took the job that I took, I saw a town where people were just getting thrown away all the time, and nobody invested into a second chance. It's like drug usage, you find out someone's doing drugs, send him to rehab. Oh, he's just a druggie,
Yeah, discarded.
You're branded by these things. And no matter where you're at in a big city, or it doesn't matter, you're branded by this.
Yeah.
I come to people at the level that I think they're willing to receive the level of love that I can give. And love, what I mean by that is this coping thing that we all have. For me, making those offers, it was because I've made these offers and they've been rejected. I've made these offers and they were taken and they did not work out in my favor, And God has put people in front of me, and he has gave me the eyes to see what people saw in me when I was going through this. Because the people that helped me out, even when I reach back out to them and tell them how much what they were doing meant to me, they literally laugh it off. They don't even understand. Nobody understands. And my mom is the most loving person. in the whole world. And it wasn't anything that I was lacking from this family environment of being loved or having a support system. I guess ultimately they knew I had to do this and go through these trials and be left out in this world. My drive was knowing that I had no safety net. There was no, I could go crash. My sister has 8 kids. Fucking, I'm not gonna go stay on the couch at our house. I just bought a car. My best friend Lonnie had came to live with me. He was suffering really bad from drug addiction, and I brought him from Massachusetts to North Carolina. This is when I was working at Toyota. I'd actually changed jobs to a Cadillac store after I had a falling out with the Toyota guys after a couple of years. And I'm working, and long story short, he's at home one day and he ODs, and a friend of mine goes there ironically and finds him purple in the face, passed out on the ground. And I think the third thing of Narcan woke him up a little bit, but he didn't know where he was at. And just, he fucking snuck a bag of cocaine that was laced with fentanyl. That was his problem, was cocaine, and that's what he thought it was. And I checked his pockets, which means he had to just like keister this fucking bag of cocaine. Like he really was like, this is my last hurrah. And I take him, and anyways, yeah, so he ODs, and my work had found out that someone had overdosed at my house, and it was best if we parted ways. I went back to Massachusetts. It was in the middle of winter time, and I was there for 2 weeks on my sister's couch. Kids getting up for school, just like fucking chaos. No job, no money, no nothing. I come home, everyone's like, hey, how was it? You've been gone. It's like, I didn't go to college like all my other friends. At the same time had passed as if I had went to a university and achieved a degree and gone out into the working field. But I didn't get any, I none, like, it was just, I'm home and I'm sitting there for like a week or 2 weeks. And I knew I couldn't do it anymore. And I was like pretty much completely out of money. And I hit somebody up in Florida for a job that they offered me. And I was like, I'm going to, it's a car dealership. And on the way there, I stopped and I met somebody that shaped my life, who doesn't believe in second chances, but didn't know who I was, and just was nice and offered me X, Y, and Z. And had they known how bad of a person I was, maybe they wouldn't have, but they did nonetheless. And that same exact relationship that I established that day is the same relationship that I have today that established the career and path that I went on. That same person, Lance. And we just locked in, and he showed me, he's like, man, you need to do it like this or this or that. He's just like, you gotta have insurance on your car. You gotta have, he just like articulating for me life, because no one else did.
Yeah.
I was fed to the wolves.
Yeah.
I could scream till I was red in the face begging for help, and I genuinely felt like nobody did. The help that I got was these lessons of failure, because I didn't know how to ask for it.
Yeah.
I didn't like that feeling. I didn't want that feeling. I thought, no, I can weasel my way into X, Y, and Z. How wrong I was, and how wrong to anybody listening to this. It might be going through some version of challenge, chance, no matter how bad it gets. There's no point to ever give up. You can fail 1,000,000 times. I will fail more than 1,000,000 times before I die. But like I said, you will never fucking see me quit, ever. There will not be a single waking moment that I am not trying to strive for greatness. And to my whole point, if I never got given a second chance to be where I'm at, I wouldn't be able to offer the things that I can offer to people to help them get to where God intends for us to be.
Yeah.
And my whole point being that you're gonna get tested all the time, and it's not about what happens to us; it's about how we handle what happens to us. And
That's literally that's where cope came from.
yeah,
That's like my core thing that I tell every single person I talk to.
yeah, it's the things that are not in our control must not be we can't put our energy into these things, for lack of a better term.
Serenity prayer.
I wanted to quote Marcus Aurelius, and the level of giving yourself to the things that we cannot control and not letting them bother our space is something that has allowed me to grow a lot. These aren't any of these things that I'm talking about weren't things that I ever realized, and weren't things that I ever worked on and did. I literally sat inside of this box, and I was a dog circling the yard and seeing through the fence and these cool cars going by. And once or twice I had jumped the fence and got to the car and didn't know what the fuck to do with the car. I'm just a dog biting the tire. And modern day, I'm a fucking dog that hopped the fence and I drive the car, you know? And it took me so long and so many times of fishing, casting my line and saying, hey, yo, this is there, because I can't tell you how many lures were in front of me waiting for me to bite onto and me be pulled out of the shit that I was doing. And I was too afraid. I was too emerged in this facade that was, I wanted to be a gangster. I wanted to be this. I wanted to be that. And I wanted to walk the walk and talk the talk. I wanted all this flashy shit. And I had no fucking idea. Every time I saw somebody with this stuff, I had no idea what it took to get it. I knew that I wanted it. I knew that I wanted it with a level of desire that I know that other people don't have. I knew that I did, but the reality is I had no idea. I sometimes have weak moments and I'm like, it'd be cool to give it all back and just fucking grab a backpack and hit the road somewhere. You know, like all this stuff will still be here when I get back. I know it will be. And I have to realize that I'm on this mission and that I come to people like Tyler, like the people that we're here with a level of understanding that it doesn't matter. The past 10, 15, however long, the past doesn't matter. It's what we do with this perspective that we now have. And I don't want to be laying on my deathbed wondering what would I have done, you know, differently.
Yeah.
I will sit there confidently taking my last breaths, knowing that I gave it 100%. Yeah. And that's why I came down here, this whole Orlando thing, seeing Tony Robbins today. It was like getting hooked up to a fucking generator. Yeah. You know, my lights were out. People, once again, going back to what I was saying, the four walls are a scary place, and I just all the time, I hear, oh, you know, when I was a kid, you're a bright kid. You know, even some of my mentors today still call me a kid. It's hilarious to me. Hey, you're a bright kid, and I'm just like, yo, I'm the fucking what? I wish I was. I wish I was, is what I used to say. And trusting, I heard the book of Job from a podcast that I love, Blood So Said So, and they describe all these theologies and religious texts from all over the world, and they just do so much cool shit. And he's talking about this book of Job, and I'm sitting there, never had like I made it past like a couple chapters of the Bible, and I'm sitting there and he's talking about this book of Job with this guy that was getting fucked. You know, he was getting taken advantage of off of a gamble between, you know, for lack of a better phrase, between God and the devil. And I'm listening to this story and I'm just like, yo, God, man, what the hell?
Yeah.
Yo, you killed this guy's family, his fucking crops, his body's covered in cysts. Like, yo, what? Like, what the heck? Like, what are we doing here? And then it's just like the whole let me cook theory. You know what I'm saying? I'm listening to the beginning of this and I'm just like, how is this how does this make people more religious? And then it's like, he got blessed beyond his imagination. Yeah. He got blessed beyond anything. He had 5 cows, a wife, and a kid, and a small piece of land. They all die. Everything this guy's he ends up having like 200 cows, 5 pastures, and the most beautiful family, and a story to tell. Yeah. And a story to tell. He went through all of that. He went through all that suffering that was, lo and behold, like God's message is that it was a blessing.
Yeah, inarguably a much greater man for the journey that he went through.
He was a much sharper sword on the other side of this.
100%.
And that's what I do this for. That's like my MO, trusting the process. Like, it is literally because we're all going through trials and tribulations. And if I did give up, when I wanted to give up, when I really wanted to give up, if I did, I wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Yeah. That's the whole, dude. That's like, I love that you said this too and brought it up in your story. Like, it's not what happens to you, it's how you deal with, or as I say, how you cope with what happens to you.
Exactly.
That is the whole, that is your character. Your character cannot be defined by what happens to you.
Yeah.
Who are you through the challenge?
The embodiment of that, when you can take that and center it and fucking show the world that I've heard stories. My sister, if she came out, you would be like, what the fuck? You know, like her story is 10x hardship of what I had. 10 times. And I'm over here like, I want to fucking die.
Yeah.
Yo, I'll always take that phone call. I'll always talk to motherfuckers. They tell me they got to go.
Yeah.
Because I needed that so bad.
Yeah.
And I'll never be able to offer what was offered to me, but I'm going to fucking make a run at it. And I'm going to show people that they have more than a purpose than they could ever imagine. I don't have to use God as my transcending message. I can look somebody in their soul and tell them where they're at and why they're at where they're at. And within minutes, just give them a small thing that will help them get past that barrier that kept me for so long.
Yeah.
Yo, it kept me there for so long. I never thought I was going to get out of the hood. I never thought of the ghetto, like just like a poverty-stricken area. I'm over here eating fucking cereal with a fork to pass the thing of milk over to my nieces and nephews to pour cereal in. So we didn't have to keep, like, that was my life. I'm like a freezer full of fucking hot dogs and Kraft mac and cheese. And I'm like, there has to be more. And I was so close to never breaking that wall, that barrier, that ceiling. I was such a fucking piece of shit in so many ways that I never allowed myself to embody these sufferings as a lesson to learn from. Failure, you can't pay for college, you don't want to do the YouTubing, go out there in the world and fail a bunch and then tell me who you are on the other side. There is no YouTube video, there is no university, there is nothing you can do when you are at the adversary of your failure.
100%.
There is nothing. You cannot learn more than failing time and time and time again. And when it comes to the world of business, they ask, Sam, how did you see X, Y, and Z? It wasn't because I watched all the people succeeding doing it. I watched all the people that tried and failed, and I knew exactly what never to do. I knew it from seeing it. I plucked each little thing, and I said, fuck, I could probably run away with this. I've been told that I could, but I've never figured out how to get over the fucking fence. And instead of biting the tire to the car, fucking opening it and getting in that thing and just driving, I never imagined it. I sold myself short. Goals are things that everybody needs. Without goals, we will go in this life aimless. And my favorite thing about trusting the process is it doesn't matter what my goal is. Every time, every single time, if I wait long enough, my goal is fucking shattered. I can't express to you. I remember as a kid saying to myself, man, if I made $100,000 a year, what I would do. If I made $100,000 a year, what I would do for the world, right? Hey, Jack Clegg, who I brought up in the beginning of my story, the general manager that I saw, I said to myself when I was 18, I said, I'm going to be a general manager. I didn't know what it took. I just wanted these things. I wanted to make six figures. I wanted to, because that's what you hear, the six-figure earners and the general. And I'm like, yo. And then you get there. It's like the best metaphor I have is along this journey to the top, if we didn't have hardship, we would have nothing to talk about when we got to the top. We wouldn't have any stories to tell. It's not about the view at the top. It's the ride.
Yeah, it's the process.
And my favorite thing about the top is every time I get there, I miscalculated it. And turns out I have an entirely new summit to climb.
At the top of mountains lies more mountains.
I tell my employees all the time, there is no hill for a climber. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. There is no hill for a climber. If I see something and I'm gonna climb it, it doesn't matter. It's pace is everything. Patience is even more. And like I said, you zoom out, these blessings, these conquering the mount, doing all these things. You have to trust the process.
Yeah.
And there's so much more to that, that I would need many more hours to
We could,
convince.
yeah.
But I will say that to any degree that what we were talking about and where I come from and what I did, there were so many times I wanted to give up. And if I could, say anything, is that you have to embrace this failure. You cannot let it affect you. These things that are not in our control, you cannot embody these things, because if you do, they will consume you.
Mm-hmm.
If you sought out these fears will just completely bring you into darkness. And I've said this before. In that darkness, a lot of people feel like there's nothing. How did the tree get to see the sunlight?
Yeah.
It had to be planted in darkness.
That's the story of the lotus flower. That's why I'm like obsessed with it. That's literally the lotus on the shirt. There's just the saying, no mud, no lotus. Like, it is underwater in the mud with nothing but what would seem to be faith that there is light and air above.
The muck holds it there.
Yeah.
The mud is literally exactly, and it blooms to the top. And anybody that's ever seen a lotus will tell you that it's sacred geometry,
Yeah.
literal sacred geometry in your eyes. People that always talk about, it's a funny correlation. The lotus literally does that. And that's, I heard these things coming up. I heard these things, like, and all it was background noise.
Yeah, me too. My mom told me all the shit.
Yeah.
10 years later, I'm like, yo.
you are who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
Yo, if I could take anything back to who I was, if I could go back to 18-year-old Sam Hatch, first thing I would do is beat the shit out of myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'd throw hands with I would beat me up, definitely.
On site.
He wouldn't. Oh yeah, he'd be like, "Who's that? That guy kind of looks familiar." Boom, just left. Yeah. And then after we deal with that, I would tell him, "You are exactly who and what you surround yourself with. And if you want to keep rolling around in shit, you'll be a pig the rest of your life."
Mm-hmm.
And I lied a lot. That was my biggest thing. I was the biggest liar I'd ever met. And believe it or not, and maybe from people at other points in my life, maybe like, "Yeah, a little lying son of a bitch," whatever. The person that I lied to the most was myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the hardest realization that I could have made, was that I'd fuck me up. I'd tell me who I was, and I'd tell myself, stop lying to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to get you anywhere, kid. And if I heeded those warnings, who knows where I'd be at? But like Olivia says, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
I fuck with where you're at now.
Yeah,
I mean,
thank
we're
you.
here. Like, we really are here.
Dude, we're in like a fucking
crazy
6,000 plus square foot, 15
There are
bedroom
bedrooms we have
house.
not yet discovered in this home.
Wild. And it's so funny. We're getting on the call, and Tyler, Jordan, and Alec, they were like, with shout out the homies, but they were like, "Hey guys, let's get on a call and let's talk about maybe getting a hotel." Someone was like, my wife gets a discount at and I was just like, "Oh no. If we're doing this,
Let's do it.
Yeah,
let's do it.
We're fucking. This is why we were having this conversation. And mark my words, right now, in 5 years, I'll be unrecognizable to who I am sitting right here, right now.
Mm-hmm.
And in 5 years, I'll own a place like the place we're sitting in,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll be able to do the things that I am destined for, which is just explaining to people that they have what I have.
Mm-hmm.
I am not special.
Mm-hmm.
I am no smarter than anybody. I am no better than anybody at anything. All I did was pay attention to people that showed me a little bit, and I accumulated it. And it took me so long to accumulate enough information to be a good person.
I will also offer you your flowers on this in a way that, like, you may not be able to give yourself. That there's a certain dichotomy in the person that is a quote unquote piece of shit, but is still believed in time and time and time and time again by the people that he just happens to come across. You have a good heart, and it's evident. It's evident because of what you've been through, because you could actually be a piece of shit. You have to be capable of that darkness to truly stand in the light. And like, I mean, I'm just still trying to put it together because I've like just met you and I'm like so jaded about just people in general. But like from the second that I met you, I'm like, oh, okay, there's something here. Like this dude and like this story and like hearing it and like time and time again, it's all like connecting for me, like the vibe that I picked up on you, that you like are somebody that like I genuinely relate to, like on a level that like I so rarely see, because I don't know many people that have walked into that darkness and know what it is to not just be a fucking good person because I'm just a good person. No, like I'm a piece of shit. Like I'm here and I'm believing in you because I had to do this process with myself, and I see you and I know that you're fucking worth it too.
I love that.
And I see it in you, man.
Thank
Like,
you.
and I'm proud of you, man. Like, I'm fucking proud of you. And it like shows me so much of like my own shit, and like just realizing, I hope other people seeing this too will see this in themselves and realize like that everybody has this inherent goodness in them.
We're born with it.
It's the truth of who
We're
we are.
born with
We
it.
are love, dude. We are love.
We are born with it. And the last thing that I really just have to get off my chest is all anybody can do is slow greatness down.
Mm.
But you can never stop it from happening.
Facts.
You can slow it down and it might take you longer, but it'll never not happen. And like I say to the boys, when it's our time to win, we cannot lose.
We will not be defeated.
Never.
Never.
Never. Never, 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 never.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Dude. Hatch, brother, we could go for literally 5 hours, but there's
episode one.
Episode one. This is the intro to Hatch. We will sit for many more sessions of talking story. I hope.
I have so much more. Yeah, I just my girlfriend Olivia is the reason why I have the prerogative and perspective. I do not credit her enough, and I just on here, and I want everybody to know that there's somebody out there that loves you like you've never been loved, and sees like how I see in people. She gave me all this. My record was being a piece of shit, and I told her that. I told her I cheated on every girlfriend I've ever had. I've slithered with the snakes and soared with the eagles, and she just fucking took care of me, man, and offered me a perspective that I have today. And that's why we're here and talking about it.
There's a unique beauty that like only a woman can breathe into a man, like, and in a very special way. And I'm just
so
like,
true.
So I didn't even know that she was a person. Like we have not had one-on-one time enough to talk about your personal life, and I'm so happy.
Yeah.
After like walking through the story and then getting to the end, I'm like, oh my god, he's got a lady that loves him. Like I'm so happy for you, bro.
Dude, I can't wait for you guys to meet, because you guys will like you guys have a lot in common just from what I've observed in our conversations, and I can't wait for you guys to meet. But like, if there's anything I could say is that my life was saved by somebody who didn't have to save it.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out Liv. Shout out
Liv, dude. Shout out Liv, brother. I appreciate you, man. Like, I mean, this is such a whirlwind of a trip, and like we're all going through so many things at this time in life. But like, I genuinely, and I do not say this fucking lightly, I feel like I've like made a friend like for the rest of my life. I feel like I've found, and Jordan and Tyler represent this, and Alec too. Even like fucking Donovan. Like I just mostly like just met most of you guys, and like I feel so grateful, and I just like want to offer this to like life right now. I have walked alone like so much, and like we talked about this last night. I've walked away from so many people that I love to this day and did love deeply and tried to like bring with me. It's so rare that I come across people that I like I actually like, not just choice, but like feel like I can trust to like actually climb that fucking mountain. Like where you said something last night that fucked me up, and it's like something that I realized that like I've been like cherishing the dream of someday coming across with or without you energy. That shit, like I'm going regardless. That is such a fucking just gift to be around, and I just like appreciate you sincerely, and I look forward to
Thank
like
you.
all that we will do, brother, because like
We're documenting it.
Yeah.
This is it right here.
Yeah,
This
we're
is-
doing it.
This is the ground level of what I think is going to be all of our futures.
we will look back on this conversation on this week and be like, wow, we were onto something.
We think we were doing it good now. Just wait, man.
Just wait.
Yeah, just wait.
Just wait, y'all.
Wait. I'm telling you.
We're cooking.
Yeah.
Let him cook. Let him
I
cook.
love it.
Brother, I appreciate you.
Yes. That's right. That's right.
All right,
That's
y'all.
right.
That's
Yeah.
coping mechanisms. That's a wrap. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Subscribe to all the bullshit. Keep up. We're just getting started.
That's it.
Yeah.